While Europe starved and cities burned, Nazi officers dined on stolen champagne, wore tailored Hugo Boss uniforms, and drove gleaming Mercedes-Benz cars built by slave labor. It wasn't chaos. It was business. The Third Reich didn't just conquer nations. It commodified them. Behind every symbol of power, the black boots, the silver insignia, the immaculate uniforms, there was profit. This wasn't just a dictatorship. It was a brand. If you want the history they never teach you, the money behind the monsters, hit like and subscribe before we go on. Now let's dive in. To understand how deep that branding went, go back to Germany in the early 1930s, a country broken and bankrupt after World War I and the Great Depression. Hyperinflation had wiped out savings by 1923. A loaf of bread cost billions of marks. Faith in democracy evaporated. That was the world Adolf Hitler walked into not as a soldier, but as a salesman. He sold redemption, power wrapped in moral purity and national pride. But no one buys purity if it looks poor. So while Hitler preached sacrifice to the masses, his inner circle built an empire of spectacle where beauty, luxury, and violence fed each other. In 1933, the Nazis came to power and fused politics with image. Joseph Goebbels, head of propaganda, understood that control of the mind started with control of the eye. Rallies, parades, posters, films, everything was aestheticized. But the most powerful propaganda wasn't on paper. It was worn. Enter Hugo Boss, a small-town tailor who joined the party early. His factory produced brown shirts for the SA and black uniforms for the SS. His sleek designs made soldiers look like a modern Roman legion, cold, unified, terrifyingly elegant. Those black uniforms weren't fashion. They were psychology stitched into fabric. And the elite didn't just wear their ideology, they drove it. The Mercedes-Benz 770K became an icon of dominance, massive, bulletproof, built to project invincibility. It was theater on wheels. Even the Volkswagen served propaganda, marketed as proof the regime could deliver luxury to the working man. Few Germans ever got one. The funds went to war production. The promise was a lie, but the dream was profitable. Meanwhile, the chemical giant IG Farben made the fuel and textiles of Nazi modernity and also produced Zyklon B, the gas used in the extermination camps. In occupied Paris, another collaboration unfolded wrapped in silk and perfume. As German officers marched through the streets, the couture houses reopened. Paris had fallen, but fashion adapted. The wives and mistresses of Nazi officials became the new clientele. Coco Chanel moved into the Ritz requisitioned by the Germans and used anti-Jewish laws to try to seize her perfume company from her Jewish partners. It didn't work, but it exposed a pattern. Moral lines blurred easily when survival and profit aligned. And that's the key to the Nazi luxury paradox. It wasn't hypocrisy, it was hierarchy. The regime preached simplicity to the masses, but rewarded loyalty with privilege. The higher you rose, the more ornate your life became. Hitler's mountain retreat was a temple of indulgence, red marble fireplaces, and furniture looted from Jewish estates. Goering built his estate with stolen art and gold. Meanwhile, propaganda spun poverty as patriotism. Ordinary Germans were told to ration and sacrifice, while the elite ate imported delicacies confiscated from deported families. A special task force looted over 600,000 works of art across Europe, from Rembrandt to Renoir. It wasn't just theft, it was economic colonization. Behind that perfection was profit. Giants like Krupp, Siemens, and Volkswagen thrived on the regime. Forced labor camps supplied millions of unpaid workers, treated as disposable machinery. Mercedes-Benz built cars and trucks powered by slave labor. Hugo Boss uniforms came from factories staffed with forced laborers. IG Farben's profits surged not despite the Holocaust, but because of it they ran factories next to death camps to extract maximum efficiency from human suffering. But the most profitable sector was theft. Through Aryanization, Jewish businesses were confiscated and handed to loyal Nazis. Banks froze Jewish accounts. In occupied Paris, families were forced to declare every painting and diamond. Then officials cataloged, priced, and seized them. Paris became a shopping mall for the Third Reich. That's the deeper lesson. The Nazi luxury economy didn't corrupt capitalism. It revealed it. Most companies didn't have to be coerced. They volunteered. IBM provided punch card systems to catalog prisoners. Ford and GM supplied vehicles. Standard Oil sent fuel. Swiss banks laundered stolen gold. Nazi capitalism was globalized, plugged into the world economy, and the world looked away because the contracts were profitable. That's the true definition of moral inflation, when ethics lose value faster than currency. When the war ended, the world confronted not just genocide, but accounting. The Nuremberg trials exposed IG Farben and Krupp, but most executives served short sentences and returned to business. IG Farben's divisions became Bayer, BASF, and Hoechst, still around today. The empire of Nazi luxury didn't die in 1945. It rebranded. And this is where the story stops being historical and starts being familiar. The same companies that built the war machine rebuilt Europe's consumer dream. Mercedes sold freedom. Hugo Boss dressed executives instead of officers. Bayer sold aspirin instead of chemicals. History didn't erase the brands, it polished them. Luxury survived fascism, because luxury always survives. If you can control how something looks, you can control how it's remembered. Today, that same logic rules global capitalism. We've traded armbands for logos, propaganda for advertising, sweatshops producing handbags sold as empowerment, greenwashing, selling sustainability while burning forests. The system learned from history, not morally, but operationally. In Nazi Germany, luxury said, "We were chosen." Today, it says, "We've earned it." Both justify inequality. The idea that business is neutral is the oldest lie in the ledger. It's how wealth absolves itself. We don't march for ideology anymore. We scroll for it. But the equation is the same. Power needs a costume. In the 1930s, it was a black uniform. Today, it's a tailored suit or a tech hoodie. That's why the Nazi obsession with aesthetics still matters. It revealed the blueprint. To make evil look good, you have to make it look expensive. Hugo Boss, Chanel, and BMW all rebranded after the war, leveraging the very prestige they built during it, and nobody canceled them. Time and taste cleaned the narrative. So what do we do with that knowledge? We learn to see through it, to stop confusing polish with progress, branding with virtue, luxury with legitimacy. When an empire flaunts opulence, ask who's paying for the illusion. The Nazi elite lived in silk while their nations starved. Today, billionaires preach sustainability from private jets. The only difference is optics. History doesn't repeat, but marketing sure does. The Third Reich proved that power can look beautiful, and that's what makes it dangerous. If you understand that, you'll never look at wealth the same way again. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If this gave you a new perspective on how money and power really work, hit like and subscribe, because history always has the answers. You just have to know where to look.